Oh, sometimes the craziest shit happens. Good evening, my beautiful crime family. Welcome to Once Upon a Crime Time. I'm your host, Tommy Jew. I hope everyone's had a beautiful day and a great day. And I bet everybody, and I mean everybody, wants the holidays to end. Or at least close to everybody. I mean, I love the holidays, even though it's a rough time of year. I still have uh, kids and I still have grandkids, and um, so it's a beautiful time of year. And it was always a special time for me when I was growing up. So yeah. Anyway, I want to say hi to my crime family. Rev, Cynthia, hello, my girl, and Hope Floats, hello, Rowena and Natural, and Rondi. Sorry for my eyes. Sometimes they deceive me. Kathleen, my girl. Karen, my girl. Uh, Debray, my girl. And Deborah. And Hoping for Answers. And Earth. And Hope Norris. And Cindy. And Ruth. And Sooner Girl. And there's a few more on top up there. Hey, Ray. The Archer, good to see you. Debbie Gazzardo. Good to see all of you, my crime family. You guys are the awesomest. Yeah, back to crime time chat. Yay! I bet you guys wondered if I was ever going to bring it back, huh? There's some interesting stuff out there right now. I mean, like really interesting stuff. And I don't know if you guys have been digging around or not. I'm going to show some of these videos today, and I got something on my own too. And of course, I got my team investigating, and we got some shows coming up. That should be pretty good. We're still digging on some stuff though, so. But yeah, there's some stuff out there right now that is quite interesting. You know, it always comes up like I always find this shit like at fucking 5 a.m. when I'm trying to get to sleep. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Then you have doctor's appointments and you have this and blah blah blah, and you can't get much done. I want my mods, my beautiful mods. Hi, Rach. How you doing, girl? Here's my girl. I'd like my mods to leave because I didn't get a chance. I knew what I was going to be doing. There's 3 main videos I want to be doing tonight, or at least checking some of them out. But I didn't get time to link them in the description. And so if you guys, the mods could post the links, I'd really appreciate it. Because, you know, I give credit always to whoever I get the information from. And the first one is, and I don't know if you guys know this one or not. I've showed them before, so I'm sure you have. But I'm going to get right to it. And this one is called Koberger Demands IG Info. And it was put out today. And let me hold on here. Okay, so this was put out today and by Idaho for Revealed. And I don't know if you guys know that channel or not. If not, if you could find this here, actually, let me do it. I'll get this. At least I'll get I'll get the link to the video out there. Let me see here. come on. There we go. And I don't know why my chat goes to where it goes. Come on, hurry up. There we are. Now I see y'all. Okay, here's the link to the video. Because I want to make sure I give people the credit. You know what I mean? Jeez, how do I get it back on the side? I don't like it down there. I don't know how this got screwed up. Okay, anyway. Now where am I? Okay, I'm here. Oh, by the way, before we go on any further, I do want to say this. Our friend and I talked today, just a little while ago, actually, Mr. Rory. And Mr. Rory's been working his little butt off. It's that time of year where he's working very hard. And with his job. And so he will not be on till after the first of the year. But he wishes all of you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year and Happy Hanukkah and whatever. He wishes you happy holidays. And he says hi to every one of you. And he misses doing his things. He doesn't know if he's going to go back into much lives. He might be doing videos, just videos, when he does come back. So I just wanted to let you know that I have talked to Mr. Rory. So anyway, back to where I was going. If I can remember where I was going. Okay. And here we go.
Dr. Larry Kobolinsky. Larry, I'm going to start with you because I want to set the table for what we expect and what we don't before the arguments are made off the same. One, going for the death penalty means you better have your case airtight. Prosecutors getting beat up for not giving enough information to the defense, which is being perceived as maybe they're hiding something. Is there any reason for concern that they did not get the DNA, process the DNA, identify the DNA the right way?
I don't think that's a concern at all. These labs are all accredited. They're all using validated technology. It's the same kind of technology used around the country. So to argue that they got it wrong, you'd have to go into all the minutia of their lab notes. It's something that I do routinely when I'm on a case. And I don't think it's going to amount to anything helpful for the defense, although you never know. I think they've done it right, and I think their conclusions are right.
All right, so the big question then is, then why didn't you find the DNA of the victims in the places you're supposed to find it? And that's the concern, is that what they didn't find where it wasn't could be enough for just one juror. Mark Garagos, take us through it.
Well, Larry does a nice job of presenting the prosecutorial slant on this. The problem that the prosecution's got is that the prosecution is now going to be arguing, hey, there's no cell phone evidence that ties him to the location. Hey, there's no DNA that ties him to location other than touch on the sheath. Hey, we don't have any triangulation. And hey, he must have cleaned it up, even though we know he was in and out of there in a time period, as you might remember, Chris, that is getting increasingly compressed. And hey, by the way, we sealed the records in this case, or we asked the judge to seal the records because we thought there were other suspects, and lo and behold, what do we learn now? That there are not one, but two unidentified male specimens that arguably are at the scene. I beg to differ.
Yeah, start reading these nice and close. Othram lack accreditation, both now and at the time of their involvement handling evidence, specifically touch DNA allegedly belonging to the defendant single source. They have no accreditation in the state of Texas to be doing what they're doing or what they did. Boom! Don't you think? I'll keep it going.
I'm going to set a deadline for all the information to be provided to the court by December 1st. That should be sufficient time.
The clock is ticking for prosecutors in the University of Idaho quadruple murders case as a judge implements a new deadline for the state to hand over DNA evidence to be used in the trial.
It seems like this is really just the beginning of the process.
In a last-minute hearing on Thursday, Judge John Judge gave accused murderer Brian Kohberger a win when he implemented a December 1st deadline. That means prosecutors have just under a month to turn over genetic.
Yeah, Kathleen, they sent the DNA they couldn't get from the Idaho State Lab to Texas, to Othram, to pull the IgG. So that's where you might be getting confused. But Texas is based out of, or Othram is based out of Texas. Yes.
Genealogy and DNA evidence to the defense. Brian Enton, a senior national correspondent with News Nation, was in the courtroom on Thursday. He tells Law and Crime Network the entire hearing centered around genetic evidence the defense is hoping to get its hands on.
Basically, the reports have to go to the judge first to review. There's a lot of confidential information that could possibly be in these reports because they involve like family trees of people who are totally unconnected to the case. So the judge has to review the reports first, and then we'll decide what to give to the defense. But the judge hasn't even gotten the reports yet. It came out in court today. The prosecutor said that they're still waiting on reports from the FBI. It's turning into this really long process. And so the new deadline for the judge to get the reports is now December 1st.
Now remember, DNA evidence is a big part of the state's case. That's how they tied Kohberger to the murders in the first place.
Read that little question. That's an interesting one, isn't it? To when Brian applied for a research assistant position with the Pullman City Police in the fall of 2022, can you imagine if he was actually applying to be the fall guy for a crime that was in the making? And by the way, talking about Pullman, Idaho, I want to tell Mr. Andy Dickwad from Pullman, Idaho, to fuck off. You're never allowed on this channel. Don't even dare come into this channel. For the things that you said on my Joel's Memorial page, you should be ashamed of yourself. Anyway, that being said, back to the show.
Part of the hearing, Enton says prosecutors noted they're working with both the FBI and a private lab to receive information.
It sounded like they were having an easier time getting the reports from the private lab, but getting the reports from the private lab.
Part of the hearing, Enton says prosecutors noted they're working with both the FBI and a private lab to receive information.
It sounded like they were having an easier time getting the reports from the private lab, but
I was muted. Okay. Do you remember that machine when I showed that on a different video? And right there, that machine right there. And remember, there was dirt all over inside it and stuff. Do you remember that? And this is like the Athearn lab that's supposed to be a lab. I mean, it's supposed to be spotless clean. I mean, what the hell? Anyway.
FBI and a private lab to receive information.
It sounded like they were having an easier time getting the reports from the private lab, but the delay really seems to be with the FBI. The prosecutor said that before the FBI can send the report, they had to get permission from the DOJ. So it's just turning into like a really, really long process.
Does it sound like something prosecutors are confident can happen in less than a month, have all of these reports ready to go?
No, they did not sound that confident to me in court today. It sounds like they're, sort of at the mercy of the FBI. The prosecutor said that he was going to call the FBI again today and try to push them along, but they say that they're waiting on the FBI to send them the reports so that they can then send the reports to the judge.
When that information does finally come down, the judge will have to review it, and it's possible he could deem some of the information inadmissible.
In the order addressing IgG DNA. I also understand that the state and the defense have different lists. So I will look at it and I'll muddle through it as best I can.
Now, don't you find this interesting, people? Look at this first line, and I think they kind of missed this too. Unless the crime being investigated presents an ongoing threat. And then they come out and say there's no ongoing threat. Do you see? And that was just a few days, a day after it happened. And they're already, and we always wondered why there was no ongoing threat. Unless the crime being investigated presents an ongoing threat to public safety or national concerns, reasonable investigative efforts must have been pursued and failed to identify the perpetrator. Isn't that quite interesting? Yes, and as it turns out, that Othram, the way this was done is not accredited in Texas for what they did for the police department. And I think that might be what they're trying to hide, why they're trying to hide everything, is because they are not even accredited to do that. That's a big bam. I'm not going to steal from Drip, man. We got to come up with something different, man. Like thunder, boom, thunder, like AC/DC. You know what I'm talking about, man. Thunder. Anyway, yeah, they are not accredited to do what they did. if one of my mods can look up that revealed, what is it? Revealed Idaho 4 page, Idaho 4 revealed. That's a really good channel. If you could put the link up, would be great. I have too many things up, and I don't want to. If I do it, it's going to cause like little delays and stuff in the. If you know what I mean, it's going to cause lag. I appreciate it. Idaho 4 Revealed is the page, is the channel. And it is a really good channel. I'm sub to them, so I appreciate it if you sub to them. And I'm sure they appreciate it too.
We've also talked about the prosecution a lot here, talking about the information that they're hoping to gain from the FBI. But did the defense speak up at all about anything?
Yeah, the defense is frustrated. I mean, it came through today in court. They've been waiting on these reports.
Okay, in case some of you missed it from chatting and whatever, an uncredited national laboratory can produce negative consequences on several levels, contrasting directly with the ethos of science serving justice. Detrimental effects of the lack of accreditation can be further compounded by the lack of regulation in forensic science profession. And I'm going to post that that link to their channel. I got to get this changed around because it takes so long to load this way. And there's the link to the channel. It's Idaho 4 Revealed. Okay. So we're done with that one. That's quite interesting. Yeah, and someone asked a question up there. Well, couldn't it be tossed? Yeah, Cindy. Yeah, I would think it could be tossed on that alone. The thing is, did Ann Taylor know did she even research to find out that they're not even accredited to do that kind of work? They're not accredited, period. Does Ann Taylor know that? I don't know. I don't know, because to me, that's a basis for the judge to go, at least for that part of the evidence, that has to be thrown out. And that might be what they've been trying to hide all along, that they're not accredited to do what they did. And they did it anyway. See, the thing is, with the Otterman, those kind of labs, what they do and what they mainly are based on doing is, are totally based on doing, is cold cases. They're not, this is the first time in history that these kind of labs are doing an ongoing case. Something that's you know, yeah, they're cold case divisions, cold case people. I guess that's the easiest way to explain. I don't know if I'm saying the exact right words or anything, but that's what it means. Anyway, I thought that was quite interesting. And another one is, and this has become one of my favorites. Hold on a second here. Okay, this has turned out to be, she used to be on before. And she got taken down because she's really good. She's really good. And I want you to go sub to her if you haven't subbed to her, and wish her well, because she's got COVID right now and she's got a fever, and she still comes on to do a video. And that shows you the dedication she has. And it's Nika's Nuggets, I do believe. Nika's Neuro Nuggets. And she is very good. So I'm going to let you check this out, because this is pretty good too. And she's really good. You need to sub her.
Hello guys, Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. Here I am again, kind of feverish. We need to talk about Eric Goer. I'm making a part 2 because yesterday I did not cover his creepy Facebook posts, and I feel like they need to be addressed because they need to. So I want your guys' opinions on these posts. What do you think? Maybe I'm just psychoanalyzing too deeply. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think of these posts? So before we get started, I'm going to give a few seconds to all the sensitive people out there. If you're a sensitive person, go away. Thank you. Thank you. This is not for sensitive people. First and last, trigger warning. Also, yes, this is me speculating. Yes, this is me doing my own Google research. Yes, this is for entertainment purposes only. Yes, me talking about specific people does not give you the right to go harass them or bother them or contact them. I do not condone that. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into this information, because a lot of you yesterday mentioned it was probably Emma, and I understand a lot of people want it to be Emma Bailey so bad, but I think that theory is just reaching a little much. That's just my opinion. I will make a video later on Emma, but for now, I think there's just way too many coincidences pointing to Eric. And we hear things about Emma all the time, but we almost never hear about Eric. Why is that? That alone is suspicious in my book. So Eric, for his Facebook, works at a nonprofit per his LinkedIn, works at the university. Per the university website, works at the university. In fact, his phone number, job title information is still on the website. I can link it in the description. It's linked in one of yesterday's posts, so you guys can scroll through and find that link. Again, do your own research and come to your own conclusions. It's just a bunch of us, people here, trying to figure out these odd connections, weird coincidences, and they need to be addressed. So, what stood out to me from yesterday's comments is that a lot of you mentioned that Eric does this picking people up thing for free. It's not actually paid. It's something that people from the university do out of the kindness of their own hearts. I'm not saying there are not kind people, but you're telling me you're a married man picking up young 21-year-old females who are potentially intoxicated at 2 a.m, sir? What does your wife think about this? Because again, this is me speculating and psychoanalyzing, but in most normal marriages, the wife would probably not be too thrilled about that. It's not that the wife is trying to be controlling, it's that it's normal to want your significant other to be with you at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. So I wonder what Katie, his wife, has to say about his behavior. Is she one of those that says, oh, he's just trying to be helpful? Ladies, married women watching my videos, how would you feel? Because if it were me, I wouldn't be worried necessarily that he's going to switch me out for a teenager or a 21-year-old. I would be worried for him. You are putting yourself, sir, in a dangerous situation. This is 2022, 2023. You can't just be out and about with drunk females. The odds of that ending well are not good. That's just math, my friends. It's statistics. So keep that in mind. I'm going to get straight into his weird Facebook posts. Again, I understand that you shouldn't judge somebody based on their Facebook posts alone. But in my opinion, and I have 2 psych degrees, social media and your posts can give me some insight on you, on your personality, your political beliefs, religion. Be very careful what you post online, because you might not think that it's giving people information or insight, but it is. And again, some of the posts that this man has on his profile are old. One of them is from 2013, but still, for those of you who understand psychology, you understand that core personality traits do not change. Let's get right into it. If you guys want to actually see this post, you can zoom in on yesterday's thumbnail, take a screenshot, and zoom in and look, because I found it deeply disturbing. Who says this stuff? Who says August 21st, 2013, Eric Goer, dear Facebook, you make stalking someone too easy, ... It's kinda creepy. Then he lists 10:11 p.m. coordinates, and then there's a picture on the far bottom right of 2 young females who appear to be hiking. They're wearing shorts, they're wearing hiking shoes. Maybe one of them has a backpack on, but it looks like they're alone, walking on an empty road. It looks like they're hiking to me. What do you think? What does that picture look like to you? You know what I find creepy about people like this, posts like this? You're putting it out there for the world to see. You make stalking someone too easy. It's kind of creepy. No, what's too creepy is you stalking these 2 young females, putting their coordinates on Facebook and sharing them with the freaking world. Because if I were one of those girls, I would be livid. Why are you sharing where I am at with the world? Why are you trying to find out where I am at? Which is why I always advise people, especially females, because statistically females are more likely to get stalked than males. Always hide your location, ladies and men. Hide your location. Don't post that you're out and about in Chicago while you are still in Chicago, downtown Chicago. Post later when you have moved or you're not there anymore, because people like Eric, people like this exist, okay? They are literally tracking your VPN or your coordinates or your social media. They're stalking you. In my opinion, this is a form of stalking. He is stalking 2 young girls, in my opinion. Why are you doing that? That is creepy. That is a big effing red flag. This makes me angry. I don't like it. I don't like how it makes me feel. Because this is an invasion of privacy. Again, people, if you have social media, reminder, hide your location. There's also another weird post, and maybe he has a weird sense of humor. I still think it's creepy. Okay, there's a couple of posts. He's wearing a face mask, creepy Halloween face mask, taking pictures with friends, taking pictures alone, taking pictures of mask in general, saying that he patched it up, that it's good to go. Why are you taking pictures in this creepy Halloween looking mask when it's not Halloween? I believe the post was a summer post. Again, maybe just something weird. Maybe he's got a weird sense of humor, but most people don't like to just run around wearing these creepy masks in the middle of summer or anywhere, anytime but Halloween, right? Right? Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm weird like that. Let me know what you think. A third post, again, maybe he's got an odd sense of humor, but he posts half a hair, you know, a rabbit, large, half of it. Looks like chewed up by a dog or something. He says his puppy left it and he thought it was cute. Okay, I've had a neighbor's cat do that for me and leave me little birds, unalived birds for me. I still don't think it's cute. I understand that it's something animals do, but to find half a hair on your bed and then say it's cute and then take a picture of it and then post it on Facebook. Again, am I psychoanalyzing this too much? I think it's weird. Is that normal? Is that cute? Would you do the same if you were him? There's also people saying, Nika, he wasn't the driver. It wasn't him. It was somebody else probably. They're probably protecting Emma. Okay, maybe. But you know what? His name is on the unredacted affidavit. Olivia said it was him that they reached out to. It was Eric Goer. That was the name of the driver. I know there's other names floating around. Remy, is that a nickname? Who is that? I have no idea where that name came from. I remember hearing it. But per Olivia, and per the affidavit, and per all these interviews, the private driver was Eric Goer. So what in the world is going on? Are you guys saying that somebody pretended to be Eric and did all these fake interviews with all these social media and news sites? Yeah, it could be, but again, I think that theory is too reaching. Occam's razor, guys. The simplest answer is usually right in front of us. And I think that the simplest answer is that Eric went ahead, did all these interviews anonymously, because at the time his name was redacted from the affidavit. But I think it had to be Eric that did the interviews. The information that is given in the interviews point to him, point to how much he knew, what he did. And I don't think anybody else could have pretended to be him and know this much. Okay, this is what he said in the Daily Mail interview titled, give me 1 second here. Private taxi driver who drove Idaho roommates Kelly and Madison home hours before they were blank to DEATH breaks his silence, saying the two roommates were excited about their food and nothing seemed amiss. Okay. So I'm like rereading the interview. And then I think this stood out to me because it just off, something off. He says, speaking for the first time and exclusively to dailymail.com, the private taxi driver, who's probably the last person to see Kaylee and Madison, said, "It's weighed on me. I've replayed that night a million times over, trying to think if there was some sign or some detail that something was amiss, but there was nothing." You've replayed that night a million times over, trying to think if there was something amiss? Okay. Maybe.
Okay, I gotta stop here for a second. Yeah, he was called, but now if I remember right, and I'm not saying that this old man's memory is that good, but if I remember right, then oh, by the way, yes, they misspelled his name, and it really makes you wonder if they didn't do that on purpose. I mean, really now, they misspell a name. That's a little bit weird. But anyway, where was I going with this? There's a couple things about this point. They called, but if I remember right, doesn't the university have a special ride share or something like that? Isn't it called? Isn't that what Steve said? That there was it was a private driver or secret driver or whatever it was he said. But I did some research back, and it turns out it's actually from the university. Am I right on this? Does anybody else remember this? That the university has these drivers that will drive people from like clubs and stuff to get them home safely if they've been drinking, like a DD driver. That's what I remember. So it would have ties to the university. Yes, love, yeah, yes, love MJ2. Yes, through the college. That's what I remember. And I don't know if Nika knows that. I think I left a message there. And by the way, when you go do sub her up, let her know that I sent you over. I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Nacho. Yeah, everybody's agreeing. So everybody remembers that. All right, good. So it isn't this old man having a dream or something, right? All right. So one of my things was right. Okay, back to the show.
Or could he be thinking about something else that was amiss?
Okay, her name is Nika, and the change is Nika, or the page, the channel, the change. I got a song called The Change. Anyway, the channel is Nika's Neuro Nuggets, and the mods have posted. Yeah, Leah just posted at least to the video, I think. And at the end of this, I will make sure that the channel is posted also. And definitely go sub her and let her know that Once Upon a Crime Time and Tommy Jude sent you over. I'd appreciate it very much. Anyway, back to the show.
Here, he says, I had known Kaylee and Maddie and Xana too. They would occasionally get rides home. And there was nothing out of the ordinary about that night. So in this interview, I know I mentioned this yesterday, he knows Maddie, but in the other one, he calls her a female. Okay. Off. And again, Eric contradicts himself. I told you guys in one of my first videos, people that commit crimes often insert themselves into investigations. They will turn and twist their stories. They will switch their stories every time they're interviewed because they can't keep track. And then often that's how they get caught, because they can't keep track of their lies. And this is just something that stood out because he's contradicting himself yet again. He says, I just sort of pulled in front of their driveway. I didn't pull right into the parking lot. I usually try not to do that because that's an easy way to get robbed. All right. I try to stay in positions where I can go in either direction so I can get away if I have to. Sounds like he's afraid or thinking ahead, right? You're thinking about potentially getting robbed and potentially having to get away. Then he goes on to say, I didn't watch them go all the way in. There were 2 of them. It's relatively safe. It's not something I would sit and watch. But then you contradict yourself saying it's a relatively safe place and you wouldn't sit and watch. So which is it, Eric? Make up your mind. Is it safe or is it not? Are you going to get robbed or are you not? Something to keep in mind. And remember, this guy took a week off after work because he was so shaken. He was so shaken. A week off. To heal, maybe? If he had wounds, cuts, injuries, I wouldn't go into work either. If I were the crime committer. Would you go into work with cuts and wounds and bruises? No, you would probably call off. It's also enough time to clean your vehicle. Just saying, just putting it out there. Not saying he did, I'm just saying it's a week off. I just took a week off of driving when I just stepped back from it all. These kids deserve justice. Another thing. I have not seen the Taco Bell receipt, which, by the way, people are getting confused. The Uber driver with the private driver, the food delivery guy with the private driver. 2 different people. Private driver, Eric Goer, per the affidavit and per Eric's interviews here, said he went to Taco Bell. I don't know what time he went to Taco Bell, but apparently that's how Moscow PD cleared him. I called Taco Bell's near Moscow. You know what time they close? 2 a.m. Drive-through closes at 2 a.m. The front.
I told you there's some
I
boom.
think that theory is just reaching a little much.
I told you there's some booms. And this is the second video that she put out on this guy. So when you go to her channel and later, you know, if you want to check out the first video on this dude right before this one, and then she goes deeper into him with this one. And I'll tell you what I really love about Nika, besides being so beautiful, is she catches on to things. I mean, I can't explain it. She sees, like, she knows when things are off. She knows she sees things and she can feel and sense that things are off and then that they're not right. And she's got a really, really, she's okay. I'm an ESFP. I was trained in the 16 personalities, you know, and one of the P is perceptive. And she definitely is very, very, very perceptive woman. And yeah. So anyway, back to the show.
That's just my opinion. I will make a video later on Emma, but for now, I think there's just way too many coincidences pointing to Eric. And we hear things about Emma all the time, but we almost never hear about Eric. Why is that? That alone is suspicious in my book. So Eric, for his Facebook, works at a nonprofit. Per his LinkedIn, works at the university. Per the university website, works at the university. In fact, his phone number, job title information is still on the website. I can link it in the description. It's linked in one of yesterday's posts, so you guys can scroll through and find that link. Again, do your own research and come to your own conclusions. It's just a bunch of us, people here, trying to figure out these odd connections, weird coincidences, and they need to be addressed. So, what stood out to me from yesterday's comments is that a lot of you mentioned that Eric does this picking people up thing for free. It's not actually paid. It's something that people from the university do out of the kindness of their own hearts. I'm not saying there are not kind people, but you're telling me you're a married man picking up young 21-year-old females who are potentially intoxicated at 2 a.m, sir? What does your wife think about this? Because again, this is me speculating and psychoanalyzing, but in most normal marriages, the wife would probably not be too thrilled about that. It's not that the wife is trying to be controlling, it's that it's normal to want your significant other to be with you at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. So I wonder what Katie, his wife, has to say about his behavior. Is she one of those that says, oh, he's just trying to be helpful? Ladies, married women watching my videos, how would you feel? Because if it were me, I wouldn't be worried necessarily that he's going to switch me out for a teenager or a 21-year-old. I would be worried for him. You are putting yourself, sir, in a dangerous situation. This is 2022, 2023. You can't just be out and about with drunk females. The odds of that ending well are not good. That's just math, my friends. It's statistics. So keep that in mind. I'm going to get straight into his weird Facebook posts. Again, I understand that you shouldn't judge somebody based on their Facebook posts alone. But in my opinion, and I have 2 psych degrees, social media and your posts can give me some insight on you, on your personality, your political beliefs, religion. Be very careful what you post online, because you might not think that it's giving people information or insight, but it is. And again, some of the posts that this man has on his profile are old. One of them is from 2013, but still, for those of you who understand psychology, you understand that core personality traits do not change. Let's get right into it. If you guys want to actually see this post, you can zoom in on yesterday's thumbnail, take a screenshot, and zoom in and look, because I found it deeply disturbing. Who says this stuff? Who says August 21st, 2013, Eric Goer, dear Facebook, you make stalking someone too easy, ... It's kinda creepy. Then he lists 10, 11 p.m. coordinates, and then there's a picture on the far bottom right of 2 young females who appear to be hiking. They're wearing shorts, they're wearing hiking shoes. Maybe one of them has a backpack on, but it looks like they're alone, walking on an empty road. It looks like they're hiking to me. What do you think? What does that picture look like to you? You know what I find creepy about people like this, posts like this? You're putting it out there for the world to see. You make stalking someone too easy. It's kind of creepy. No, what's too creepy is you stalking these 2 young females, putting their coordinates on Facebook and sharing them with the freaking world. Because if I were one of those girls, I would be livid. Why are you sharing where I am at with the world? Why are you trying to find out where I am at? Which is why I always advise people, especially females, because statistically females are more likely to get stalked than males. Always hide your location, ladies and men. Hide your location. Don't post that you're out and about in Chicago while you are still in Chicago, downtown Chicago. Post later when you have moved or you're not there anymore, because people like Eric, people like this exist, okay? They are literally tracking your VPN or your coordinates or your social media. They're stalking you. In my opinion, this is a form of stalking.
That, to me, people, is creepy as fuck. That is creepy as fuck. When you have somebody that doing something like that, and this person was cleared like in a day, this driver, and especially when, well, they just threw Maddie's coat down at the fire hydrant. Why would it be over in that area? You ever think of it? Why would it be? How would it have gotten by the fire hydrant? And then you have this driver that, of course, they don't even get the name right, which is really strange. They put an R in there. I mean, this guy's creepy as hell. Back to the show.
He is stalking 2 young girls, in my opinion. Why are you doing that? That is creepy. That is a big effing red flag. This makes me angry. I don't like it. I don't like how it makes me feel. Because this is an invasion of privacy. Again, people, if you have social media, reminder, hide your location. There's also another weird post, and maybe he has a weird sense of humor. I still think it's creepy. Okay, there's a couple of posts. He's wearing a face mask, creepy Halloween face mask, taking pictures with friends, taking pictures alone, taking pictures of mask in general, saying that he patched it up, that it's good to go. Why are you taking pictures in this creepy Halloween looking mask when it's not Halloween? I believe the post was a summer post. Again, maybe just something weird. Maybe he's got a weird sense of humor, but most people don't like to just run around wearing these creepy masks in the middle of summer or anywhere, anytime but Halloween, right? Right? Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm weird like that. Let me know what you think. A third post, again, maybe he's got an odd sense of humor, but he posts half a hair, you know, a rabbit, large, half of it. Looks like chewed up by a dog or something. He says his puppy left it and he thought it was cute. Okay, I've had a neighbor's cat do that for me and leave me little birds, unalived birds for me. I still don't think it's cute. I understand that it's something animals do, but to find half a hair on your bed and then say it's cute and then take a picture of it and then post it on Facebook. Again, am I psychoanalyzing this too much? I think it's weird. Is that normal? Is that cute? Would you do the same if you were him? There's also people saying, Nika, he wasn't the driver. It wasn't him. It was somebody else probably. They're probably protecting Emma. Okay, maybe. But you know what? His name is on the unredacted affidavit. Olivia said it was him that they reached out to. It was Eric Goer. That was the name of the driver. I know there's other names floating around. Remy, is that a nickname? Who is that? I have no idea where that name came from. I remember hearing it. But per Olivia, and per the affidavit, and per all these interviews, the private driver was Eric Goer. So what in the world is going on? Are you guys saying that somebody pretended to be Eric and did all these fake interviews with all these social media and news sites? Yeah, it could be, but again, I think that theory is too reaching. Occam's razor, guys. The simplest answer is usually right in front of us. And I think that the simplest answer is that Eric went ahead, did all these interviews anonymously, because at the time his name was redacted from the affidavit. But I think it had to be Eric that did the interviews. The information that is given in the interviews point to him, point to how much he knew, what he did. And I don't think anybody else could have pretended to be him and know this much. And this is what he said in the Daily Mail interview titled, give me 1 second here. Private taxi driver who drove Idaho roommates Kelly and Madison home hours before they were blank to DEATH breaks his silence, saying the two roommates were excited about their food and nothing seemed amiss. Okay. So I'm like rereading the interview. And then I think this stood out to me because it just off, something off. He says, speaking for the first time and exclusively to dailymail.com, the private taxi driver, who's probably the last person to see Kaylee and Madison, said, "It's weighed on me. I've replayed that night a million times over, trying to think if there was some sign or some detail that something was amiss, but there was nothing." You've replayed that night a million times over, trying to think if there was something amiss? Okay. Maybe. Or could he be thinking about something else that was amiss? Here, he says, I had known Kaylee and Maddie and Xana too. They would occasionally get rides home. And there was nothing out of the ordinary about that night. So in this interview, I know I mentioned this yesterday, he knows Maddie, but in the other one, he calls her a female. Okay. Off. And again, Eric contradicts himself. I told you guys in one of my first videos, people that commit crimes often insert themselves into investigations. They will turn and twist their stories. They will switch their stories every time they're interviewed because they can't keep track. And then often that's how they get caught, because they can't keep track of their lies. And this is just something that stood out because he's contradicting himself yet again. He says, I just sort of pulled in front of their driveway. I didn't pull right into the parking lot. I usually try not to do that because that's an easy way to get robbed. All right. I try to stay in positions where I can go in either direction so I can get away if I have to. Sounds like he's afraid or thinking ahead, right? You're thinking about potentially getting robbed and potentially having to get away. Then he goes on to say, I didn't watch them go all the way in. There were two of them. It's relatively safe. It's not something I would sit and watch. But then you contradict yourself saying it's a relatively safe place and you wouldn't sit and watch. So which is it, Eric? Make up your mind. Is it safe or is it not? Are you going to get robbed or are you not? Something to keep in mind. And remember, this guy took a week off after work because he was so shaken. He was so shaken. A week off. To heal, maybe? If he had wounds, cuts, injuries, I wouldn't go into work either. If I were the crime committer, would you go into work with cuts and wounds and bruises? No, you would probably call off. It's also enough time to clean your vehicle. Just saying, just putting it out there. Not saying he did, I'm just saying it's a week off. I just took a week off of driving when I just stepped back from it all. These kids deserve justice. Another thing. I have not seen the Taco Bell receipt, which, by the way, people are getting confused. The Uber driver with the private driver, the food delivery guy with the private driver. Two different people. The private driver, Eric Goer, per the affidavit and per Eric's interviews here, said he went to Taco Bell. I don't know what time he went to Taco Bell, but apparently that's how Moscow PD cleared him. I called Taco Bell's near Moscow. You know what time they close? 2 a.m. Drive-through closes at 2 a.m. The front closes at 10 or 11 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. So he had enough time. He dropped the girls off at 1:56 a.m. You had enough time to get to Taco Bell? And then on top of that, you kept your receipt? How fast were you going to get to Taco Bell before closing? Or are you saying that they stayed open for your order? I personally doubt that. I want to see this Taco Bell receipt because knowing Moscow PD's interviewing process, like Jack S. was interviewed apparently through the phone. Is that what you did, Moscow PD? Did you just call your buddy here who plays Santa for you on occasion? Did you just call him on the phone and say, hey, bud, we need you to text us your receipt? Or we don't even have to see it. Just, we believe you. We know you. We know you're a good dude. You play Santa for us. We know your wife works here. You guys are good people. Is that the type of interview that they did? Because I don't work for law enforcement, but come on now. All my family does. You always want to interview people in person. Body language says so much more than a text, than a phone call ever will. So I want to know, how was he cleared? Was he seen in person? That's what I want to know. Because if he wasn't, then we have a whole other issue there. There's another interview. Law and crime. He lived 1,200 feet from my door. Driver who brought Idaho victims home the night they were unalived is exceptionally glad about suspect's arrest. I'm sorry, but I haven't even heard parents of the victims say exceptionally glad. Why are you exceptionally glad? His words chosen. He seems very thrilled that they caught someone. I was surprised, but exceptionally glad that some form of resolution is forming. I feel exceptionally bad for those parents in our community. He lived 1,200 feet from my front door. I spent 6 weeks trying to convince my wife that there was not a threat, and I was wrong. The driver said, adding that the wife still fears walking their dog despite Koberger's arrest. I wonder why. Why is she still afraid? Huh? What does she know? I want to know what she knows. Does she see you with any cuts, wounds? How many times have you been home late? How many times have you picked up these girls and do them a favor out of the kindness of your heart to be their driver? I suspected from everything that I read that whatever happened in the house was exceptionally violent, far beyond what a scorned lover would do in regard to the sheer violence. Scorned lover? Ooh. Why is that on your mind, Eric? They were all good employees in Mad Greek. They were all nice girls. They were always polite with me. I'm hoping they have an ironclad case. I desperately hope that they have this locked down. If they let this guy walk, it's a shame. Well, if I had committed a crime, I would also want them to have an ironclad case. If I was roaming the streets still, and they had an innocent guy in jail. Because if they don't have an ironclad case, guess who might be questioned again? Desperately hope they have this locked down. His word choice throughout several interviews sticks out like a sore freaking thumb to me. And if you're the person that's going to comment and say, I don't think it was him, I think it was somebody pretending to be Eric, I freaking doubt it. He knows too much. If you read the entire interview, which I'm not going to, I'll link them. He knows too much. He knows these girls. He goes on about what he did for the university. Somebody who would be potentially pretending to be Eric, I don't think would know this much information. So Eric is very strange, very strange. The quote about the ironclad case, ew. The quote about scorned lover, the sheer violence is ew. And again, when we go back to the Facebook post, yes, of 2013, remember, just to close, dear Facebook, you make stalking someone too easy. It's kind of creepy. Yuck. That makes me want to vomit. This is a vomit-inducing post. What type of person puts this type of material on their Facebook, along with the coordinates of 2 young females who appear to be alone on a freaking empty road hiking? Again,
I'm sorry, people, but that is not normal behavior. That is not normal behavior. What is it about Idaho, man? How many characters have we ran into out there that they don't have normal? It's just not normal behavior. And I mean, really stalking people with GPS and everything. What the fuck, man? And this guy was like cleared within a day. What's wrong with that picture?
that's a big WTF from me. So I am sickened by this post alone, not to mention the other ones I talked about. I want to know, what do you guys think about him? Eric Goer. And I want to know, what do you think about him potentially doing this job of picking up young college students, maybe unpaid? I don't know if he is paid or not. But from what people have said, this is a volunteer type of work. Very sketchy. Very sketchy to me to want to volunteer to help young people who are potentially not in their 5 senses, who are young, who are potentially high risk for being taken advantage of because they are not in their 5 senses, and you're married. and you picked him up on or dropped him off on at 1:56 a.m. on a Sunday? Is this what you normally do? Do you not work Mondays? What time do you work Mondays? I doubt that Moscow PD asked all the questions. So, I'm gonna go. I can feel my fever coming back up. It's either that or this freaking post just irks me. Like, people like that disgust me. I have never been stalked before that I know of. I'm sure maybe, who knows? But that's insane. So last reminder, be careful what you post on your social media. Be careful who you share with. Turn off your location. Don't let people know where you are at when you are there. If I go to Cancun, I'm not going to tell you I'm in Cancun when I'm there. I'll post about it when I'm back in Chicago. We don't need that type of negativity around these places. This guy just doesn't sit well with me. And for the people defending him, saying it's not him, Nika. He was not the driver. I don't know. I think he was. For all I know, people saying it's not Eric, could be Eric with a fake account. I don't know. Again, remember Occam's razor. So that's the video, guys. Let me know down in the comments. What do you think of this guy? Do you find that post creepy? I do. Have a good day.
I'm so in love with that girl. Not just because she's beautiful either. She is one intelligent girl. She's very perceptive, like I said. Some people think she's like a psychic or something. No, she's just very, very perceptive. And she has a really good channel. She had one before. She got shut down. Why? Because she's too good. Apparently, freaks some people out. Anyway, we have strange suspicions in the house. I don't know if you'd like to get up here now or not, but I would love to have you on panel someday. Yeah, and we should all work together. And that's what when I first started in true crime here a few months back, that's what I tried to do. And I thank you for that, Strange. That's really cool. I didn't even know that you watched. But it's really hard to put them together when there's so many egos. If they would drop their egos and their pride and everything, they'd probably get along better. You know what I mean? I don't make any money on this channel whatsoever, and I don't care if they do or not. But that isn't an issue with me. So I try really hard to bring people together and not put them apart. So I try to stay away from the drama as much as I can. But as you know, I'm sure you know, it's hard to stay away from sometimes, especially when you're doing lives. It's kind of hard to stay away from sometimes. But I'm gonna run one of Strange's videos here, her newest one, I think it is. So everybody knows who I'm talking about. Strange Suspicion. She's in the house, and she's got an awesome channel. And my mods are sharing her channel link. And please keep doing that while her video is playing. Okay, and here we go. And this is called Scrub Clean, and this is by a Strange I was going to say subscription. Strange Suspicion.
answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth! Order in the court!
Hey guys, welcome to Strange Suspicion. If you've been here before, big shout out to you guys. I appreciate you so much. If you're new here, my name is Pia, and I hope you enjoy my channel. I do take content suggestions if you are unaware of that. All the different kinds of content I'm willing to do are in my channel description. So if you want to just go check that out and send me a content suggestion through comment or email, that would be great. I'm super psyched that today I am premiering this video so we can watch together and create a conversation. But I do appreciate you no matter what time you're watching this. Being that I started this channel just a little over 2 months ago, I am overwhelmed with the amount of love and support you guys are giving me. I really, really appreciate you. I appreciate all your shares, your comments, and your mentions. So let's get into it, guys. What is OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.com. The website is an 18 and older subscription platform, empowering creators to own their full potential, monetize.
Okay, I got to say this right now. Now, she got onto this and she wasn't scared to put it up there. I'm going to tell you a story, okay? And this is like a day, or not the very next day, like maybe the 14th, okay? I seen a video. This is way before I was got onto Rory's channel, way before I started any channel up. I was just a guy out watching videos, right? And I seen a video that was posted and which looked like, and I'm not going to say what girl, but it was one of the 3 girls dancing. And I asked the person that had the video what it was, and it said it was a video of this person on the OnlyFans page. Later, after I watched it, I went into this chat room on another channel, and I don't even remember, I didn't know anybody then. I don't even remember like the channels or nothing. And I told them I seen this video of this gal, and I'm not going to say her name, one of the girls, on OnlyFans. And I got attacked. I mean, I got so attacked that I got out of that chat, and I never went, as far as I know, I never went back there. I went back to see that video, and it was taken down. And I swear that it was that girl. Anyway, Strange had the guts to run this, so I'm going with it here.
Their content and develop authentic connections with their fans.
Maybe OnlyFans creators see it differently, but I feel as a woman, it doesn't seem like that kind of content would be very safe. Anyone ever hear about this case?
That is the stuff of nightmares. A man is accused of breaking into the home of an OnlyFans model and taking video of her while she slept. Police say Mauricio Guerrero drove from Pennsylvania to New Hampshire. He allegedly broke into the house and took videos of the victim as she slept naked. It's believed Guerrero even spent time in her attic because she found food, headphones, and cups filled with urine when she searched them.
It's no secret to anyone following this case that people have been either making assumptions or starting rumors that people who lived at 1122 Queen Road had OnlyFans accounts and were making quite a lot of money from them. Well, first things first. Do we really want to assume that Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Goncalves, Xana Kernodle, Dylan Mortensen, and Bethany Funky were on OnlyFans or Sugar Babies? They had accounts on them. People say that Ethan had an OnlyFans. Well, whack-a-mole, guys. Does Chief Fry have one too? How about Ann Taylor? Or what about, did Kaylee use all that money that she got from OnlyFans to buy a brand new Range Rover? Well, no, the Range Rover is a 2016. Why are people spreading this around? Because they're attractive sorority girls? I understand that it's easy to believe any of them could find success on platforms like that. There is absolutely no evidence that any of them had an OnlyFans. And as you can see, it looks like if Brian made these posts or sent these messages or whatever this is, he doesn't really have a lot of respect for women, and that is pretty evident. However, these posts are alleged. Now, this video I'm about to show you right now is a video I came across when I was looking for information on either factual things or rumors dealing with anyone at 1122 King Road and OnlyFans. And I gotta tell you guys, this is pretty insane. I don't believe it. I feel it's ridiculous. Tell me what you think.
So we're going to talk about Dylan again. And here's why. I originally thought they found out about her being trans because she had surgery on January 27th. I was wrong about that. They found out about her being trans because of OnlyFans.
It's alleged. Usually, anytime I have seen Steve Goncalves interviewed by the media, he'll say things in such a way that if you listen back to them, you can hear a lot of interesting things. Let's check this one out, and you can let me know what you think he meant by this.
Yeah, I was surprised that we're at a moment in the case that we don't even have a trial date. We've had a trial date for almost the vast majority of once they had a suspect. So we don't have a trial date, but we have a date to have, largely the biggest piece of evidence being destroyed, which just seems backwards. I have leaked footage. I've seen things that they may have not seen. I know for a fact the path that this white salon, this car took. And people are going to wonder what he was doing when he parks in certain locations for extended amount of time. What was he looking at? I want to know what he was looking at. And I don't know how you can see what this man was looking at without the house being there. What windows was he peering into? Why did he pick that location to stop at? Why did he keep going back to these certain locations? And I don't know about the other 12 or 13 times that he was there. I just know the day that this happened in the footage that was given to me. I'm going to weigh on the side of what's best for her and making sure that I'm not going to let something slip through our hands that I could have said something. If what I know is accurate, Steve, there's a massive amount of information. This case will open up other investigators to know that there's a whole nother level of data being collected on people, and some of that will come out in this case.
You guys, there are just so many pieces and trails and numbers and different organizations to follow. Let me ask you, are you good at math? You know the old saying, right? If the shoe fits. Well, what I'm wondering is, what size is it? How much did it cost? Is it worth walking in those shoes? Did those shoes walk the trail behind the house? I promise you this, guys. We will find out. Follow that rabbit.
I love that rabbit at the end. But really, that did happen to me on that. And I didn't even know what OnlyFans was. I didn't even know what that was, people. I don't, and I still have never been to OnlyFans. I don't know what it, I still, you know, I've been told kind of what it is now. I mean, since then, since I got attacked over saying that. But I swore it was, but then, you know, it was the day after. So I could have been mistaken because, you know, their faces weren't etched in my head yet or anything like that. But I could have swore it was her. Other things. What else was I thinking of here? And it just kind of slipped out of my brain here. It was something to do with her video too here. And I can't remember what it was. See what happens when you get old. Oh, I know what it was. One thing about Range Rovers, you go look it up. I looked up a 2016 Range Rover. Do you know what 2016 Range Rovers go for? $100,000. Look it up. Look up, use 2016 Range Rover. What I found is they still go for $100,000. And I looked that up a while back because I got attacked over that one too, because I had mentioned about the Range Rover when I was doing like drug connections and stuff, and I got attacked by a certain detective that thinks he knows everything. And he had stated, well, they're cheap at that time. No, they're not. They're $100,000. So, yeah. Anyway. There is one more video I'd like to share, and it's going to be, you all know him. There's so much good information out there today. It's just... and I had that doctor's appointment and stuff, and I couldn't get as prepared as I wanted to get. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to run a good one and Strange's Friend, because he had an awesome video out today too. And of course, let me explain here. This is for people that haven't been in here. This is Crime Chat, and a lot of times I delete these afterwards unless I have really good content. Today's really good content, so I'm going to probably leave this up. I just want to make sure, and they have been doing it, that everybody knows whose channel I'm going to, that they get total credit for the information that is being put out there, and that my mods are putting up the channel links so they can go and subscribe to the channels, because I believe that it does take a community. I believe that all these channels should be subscribed to, and we need, just like it takes a village to raise a child or whatever, it takes a village, a community, to get to the bottom of things. And that's what we need, is a community. And, you know, I preach that a lot. So anyway, I'm going to share. So I'm probably going to leave this one up because there is some pretty good information coming out today. And it's from our friend Drip. I don't know if you've seen it today or not, but he came out with a new one today. So we're going to go with Drip.
Super special investigative video. We are going to discuss the destruction of the house, the star witness for Brian Koberger, as well as the victim's family members, and so much more. Yeah. Now, without further ado, let's see what I have to say for myself this time. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crime Circus. My name's Drip Drop, and I'll be your host as always. Now, let's jump right in. We are just going to start this video off properly with some craziness. I made a super special important video, which I'm going to link down below. And then within 24 hours of that, the FBI went into the house looking for more clues. It really makes you wonder, did they watch my video and then decide to go look for those clues? Yeah. And then I made a video on a fallen soldier. And within hours, the Pullman prosecutor made an official statement saying the police have done no wrong. And nobody ever accused them of any wrongdoing. You just want the 911 call because it's a closed case. And then I made a video on the big black house on the hill with a direct line of sight to 1122 Queen Road. You know whose childhood home, and then you know who made the official statement that that house will be destroyed on December 28th, 2023. And this comes after they said they were going to preserve the house. Yeah. This is crazy. You could imagine how I feel when I make videos and then things happen shortly after. You could imagine how I feel. It's like I'm living in some sort of dreamlike nightmare or some sort of scripted reality show. And to be honest with you, it feels more like a real life horror movie. It really does. Because how many times is this going to keep happening? This is scary. And it's getting scarier too. It kind of makes me regret making that video about the big black house on the hill with you know who that lives there. Okay, I'll just say it. The president of the University of Idaho. And his childhood home was 1122 Queen Road. Some people knew about that, yeah. But most people didn't. And I'm the biggest true crime YouTube channel in the world investigating Moscow, Idaho. You can check the numbers, they don't lie. Independently, all on our own, single-handedly, with no help from anybody else. We're basically half as big as Court TV, and we pack twice the punch. Yeah. Boom. We are the biggest true crime network in the world. And that's not even deniable. The cult numbers do not lie. We're an up-and-coming growing cult, and you love it. Yeah, you do. Anyways, maybe I shouldn't have made that video about the house on the hill. And then maybe the crime scene would have lasted a little longer. Anybody with half a brain cell knows you shouldn't destroy evidence before a conviction in a murder case. This isn't even about what's morally right or wrong. This is just basic common sense that we like to use here at Crime Circus. A lot of people in my comments section have told me I'm the best investigator in the whole world. And I'm starting to believe it. Because the things that I'm seeing don't sit well with me. We've talked about crypto. We've talked about cowboys. We still don't know who the cowboys were inside that house. We don't know if there's any connection to the cult of Odin. There might be. You don't know until you investigate. You can't just throw a dart at the dartboard and assume it must be the creepy guy that moved in from out of state that's been living in Pullman, Washington for 3.5 months. And we have to ask ourselves, why were the police pulling him over so often for minor traffic infractions? And why did they ask him for his phone number? I've been pulled over a few times here and there and no one's ever asked for my phone number. So what did that lady officer need Brian Koberger's phone number for? Was she going to call him on his personal time, or was she doing something that she was told to do for something much, much bigger than herself? We need to know. You know we do. Now, moving right along, the tunnels. Some people still deny the tunnels. Paid disinfo agents. They're a real thing. And I think I've spotted a few. Some of them obsessively make videos on this Moscow, Idaho Brian Koberger case. So either they're sickly obsessed with Brian Koberger, or they're being paid to give you disinfo. And I think it might be a little of both, personally. They want any viewer that clicks their video to believe they're a nut, a crazy person, out of their mind if they believe in the tunnels. I'm here to tell you 100% for a fact, tunnels exist in Moscow, Idaho. This is well-documented history. It's on their official website.
And who was the one that exposed the tunnels? That would be Mr. Rory. Yep. And then he didn't, after he exposed them and got into a little bit, he got so much flack that he just felt that he needed to get away from it. And that's what's crazy about this, about having a crime channel. You get attacked every single day, either through emails, on your channel, or on your community page. You're getting attacked all the time. And yeah, but he is the one that exposed the tunnels. And yes, they are true. There is 9 miles worth of tunnels underneath. 9 miles worth.
Anybody with a 10 seconds worth of time in the Google search engine can find tunnels exist in Moscow, Idaho. This isn't even deniable. So the tunnels do exist. The only question is, do the tunnels go to the crime scene? We don't know, but we need to know. We're guessing. It's a hypothesis. And if you don't know what a hypothesis is, let's check out the definition of a hypothesis. Hypothesis, a supposition or proposed explanation made on the basis of limited evidence as a starting point for further investigation. As used in a sentence, professional astronomers attacked him for popularizing an unconfirmed hypothesis. Philosophy, a proposition made as a basis for reasoning without any assumption of its truth. The hypothesis that every event has a cause. Boom! Yeah. In other words, what we're doing is very scientific. Much more scientific than a lot of other investigations that I've seen out there. You know that's true. In those little blurry pixels on Linda Lane with the bright lights, you don't know what kind of car that is. Even if it is a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra, you certainly can't see the driver.
No.
No. You can't see anything. And there's no way you could actually tell that's a 2015 Hyundai Elantra. That could be a 2020 or a 2011. And as I've shown you in my previous videos, it could even be a Ford Fiesta. If you had to bet your life on exactly what make, model, color, and year that car was, would you do it? Are you that confident? Because even an FBI specialist with 20 to 30 years of experience got the car wrong. And we know he was basing that on much clearer footage than what we've seen on Linda Lane, because there's much better cameras listed in the probable cause affidavit. So with even better footage, he got it wrong. So don't believe any creator that tells you they know what car that is on the little pixelated, blurry Linda Lane footage. They're blowing smoke. And this is a no-cap zone. Here at Crime Circus, it's my promise to you that I will never, ever fool you, trick you, deceive you, or try to get you to click my video with clickbait stuff. And I will never deceive you inside these videos, because this is a guessing show. And it's good to have morals in an investigation that's this serious. Yeah, moving right along. So yeah, basically what I'm getting at is we're scientific. We do our hypotheses and we do our philosophies, so on and so forth, etc. We use common sense here at Crime Circus, and we feed each other our highly intelligent hypotheses. And you don't need credit or a shout out for a hypothesis, do you?
No.
No. This is an important investigation. This is for the victims' families. This isn't for your clout chasing wants and desires. That's sick. Stop clout chasing. Thank you so much. This isn't about a view count. Some creators cover a whole bunch of cases because they're chasing the clicks. There's no other case more important than Moscow, Idaho. I was one of the first channels in the entire world to cover this case. And I'll be the last, too. Because what this case means to me is more than a view, more than a click, more than a YouTube subscription. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. Everybody's got their favorite. Moving right along, the knife. Shout out to each and every single one of you that has a good heart, good intentions, and you wanted to go to Moscow, Idaho with me to search for the knife. Maybe we can figure something out together. Because as far as I know, nobody's searched for the knife. There's been no search parties. And in a lot of cases that I've seen, they do grid searches. They walk on the side of the road. They walk on people's properties with permission. They do a little lake diving. They search in ponds. They bring out teams of scent dogs that can follow a trail for miles. We haven't seen any scent dogs in this investigation. That's quite alarming. Maybe we can commandeer our own scent dogs and the scent will still be there 1 year later. Maybe it will. We don't know. I've seen zero evidence of any search parties looking for the passing away weapon. People on the internet like to speculate he had a KILL kit. Well, doesn't that sound fancy? Straight out of a horror movie. And some of you have been watching too many movies. If there was a kit, that kit has to be somewhere. And it appears nobody's even searched for the kit. Which brings us right back to the house. What if the alleged passing away weapon or the alleged kit is within the home, in a vent, maybe in a drain pipe, maybe in the tunnel? We don't know. Maybe it's in that pond that I showed you in my previous video. Maybe whoever did this just tossed it out of his window on the way home. Might sound a bit far-fetched, but so does a PhD college student who studied in criminology, making so many foolish mistakes, such as using his own car with his own license plates, bringing his own cell phone. All of that stuff sounds like amateur hour 101. And anybody that's seen a single Forensic Files episode knows all of those are big no-nos. Brian Kohberger's 28 years old in college. He had been in college studying crimes for a decade of his life. Could you imagine studying crimes for a whole entire decade of your life? And then you drive your own car and your own cell phone to the crime scene? So he's so foolish to do that, but he's so smart that none of the victim's DNA or any of their possessions ended up in his possession. So either he's smart or he's not. Your choice. And if he's a little of both, then maybe the knife is on the side of the road and it can be found. A knife can't disappear. It's either in the pond or on the side of the road. And no less than a handful of you had this super genius idea to do magnet fishing. That I should get a really big magnet off Amazon and start tossing that in the lake. And I think that's a great idea. I did some research on magnet fishing, and I came across the greatest true crime sleuth to ever sleuth, Mr. Ryan Upchurch.
Well, no murder weapons yet, but we did find this stuff so far. Found a couple of square, I guess, railroad spikes. I was magnet fishing. It is absolutely stuck. I've done everything to get it unstuck. I can't unhook it because it's on the other side.
He does magnet fishing.
Oh my God.
Maybe he could come with us and we can all magnet fish together. I found one pond. Maybe we can find more ponds. And if we each have a magnet, that increases our odds of finding something important by a lot. Yeah, it does. And if we, the Crime Circus cult, find the passing away weapon in the biggest case in Idaho history, do you know what that would mean? It would mean we're really good at what we do, and we really do care about the victims. But we're really good at what we do, and we do care about the victims even if we don't find it, because it's the thought that counts. You know that's true. And yeah, it's wintertime, and yeah, the water's going to be cold. But maybe some of us even have wetsuits. Maybe some of us can do scuba diving, and some of us can do magnet fishing. Me, personally, I was going to do even in the ice cold water because I already have a snorkeling set and I don't have a magnet, but you told me to get a magnet, so I do think a magnet is probably going to be better for me. And I've never done magnet fishing before. If anybody out there thinks that Ryan Upchurch will want to come on this trip with us, let me know down in the comments below. Because we could use as many good sleuths on this sleuthing trip as possible. Because we actually care. Some people just sit behind their computer doing animations, fantasizing about this case. Some of these individuals are obsessed with Brian Kohberger. And I believe they're even obsessed with Maddie Mogen too. Yeah, I personally think it should be a crime for a YouTuber to say the defendant is guilty and make little animations before the defendant has even had his fair day in court. Anybody that does it should receive the harshest penalties, because animations are not reality. Anybody can create a cheap-looking animation with some basic software. It doesn't make it fact. And I know that you know that. So I respect you for watching this video because you're probably smarter than the average sleuth. So with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the house. The destruction of the house, 1122 Queen Road or King Road. We don't know. It depends who you ask. That house is about to be destroyed forever. It makes me emotional just thinking about it. All the good times those young people had inside of that home, and then the horrors that took them out of that home. It's really sad. They should probably not destroy the house. They should just turn it into a museum like Graceland and put all of the victims' possessions back in the house.
I think that's what really gets to me on this case is, you know, they really were for beautiful, beautiful. And I'm going to call them kids because I'm an old man and they're kids to me. My kids are older than them and I call my kids kids, you know, and they were four beautiful kids. And the times they had in that house, I bet were just, you know, unbelievable times. And I think I know I'm probably going to get flack from people on this and whatever, but I kind of agree with Drip on this. And I don't think it should be forgotten and just tore down. And, you know, they already have a memorial up, right? I think they should do something different with that house. And I don't think it should be torn down. And especially with the court case coming up. And I still think that Ann Taylor should have the jury go through that house and listen to the sound of how loud that house is inside. Because it is very loud. I mean, we did a video on Rory's channel, and you can hear them when they're coming up the stairs. It's just, I mean, it's unbelievable loud. There is no way in hell that those two did not hear what was going on, that or they weren't there. And you know my thoughts on that and my thoughts on Linda Lane. And that whole night, we all know, my crime family knows that night was a very fucked up night. And what's stated in the PCA is not the way that went down. I'm sorry, I don't believe it one bit. If I'm proved wrong in the end, I'll eat crow and whatever. And if Brian Kohlberger is guilty, I want him shot right between the eyes. But whoever did it, I want the same thing. If it isn't Mr. Kohlberger. And that's my stance on that.
Or maybe even turn it into an Airbnb and have overnight stays. Would you stay in that house? These ideas aren't that far-fetched, so pick your jaw back up off the floor, please. The Villisca Axe Passing Aways. The Villisca Axe House. It's a little museum, and it's an overnight stay Airbnb situation. It's a horrific crime that happened many years ago. An entire family of 6 was axed while they slept in the comfort and what they thought was the safety of their own home. They never destroyed the house. The house is now a little museum, and it's also an Airbnb. As you can see on the screen right here, Unspeakable horrors happened in this house, and the person that did it was never caught. Nobody was held responsible for this brutal slaying. And if you want, maybe I'll talk more about this case in the near future. Leave me a comment down below, and I'll consider it. Now let's have a little look-see at their website here. You can see this is the Villisca Axe Murder House. Day tours and overnights at Villisca Axe. Day tours Tuesday through Sunday 1 to 4 with the last tour at 3:30, $10 for adults and $5 for seniors 65 and over. Day tours will end October 30th and resume in the spring. Overnights. Overnight pricing is $428 for groups of 1 to 6 people. $75 for each additional person. Let's scroll down and see what else they have to say for themselves here. Daylight tours. For history buffs, the faint of heart, schools, or clubs, the Villisca Axe House is open for daytime tours. Since opening the house to the public, the Lynns have been host to school groups from across the Midwest, as well as individuals who just aren't ready to tackle the house after dark. So apparently not only is it a tourist attraction, schools are doing field trips to a crime scene house. Maybe schools should do field trips to the 1122 crime scene. What's the difference? In fact, less people were harmed at 1122. So yeah, how do you feel about the Villisca Axe House? Are the relatives of the slain family just profiting off of the horrors that happened? Are they just stacking up that money? Is it all about the money? I personally don't know. But if the Villisca House stays, so should the 1122 crime scene. Why not? And don't even tell me it's so the students can heal. Those students were partying within 24 hours of this crime happening. Sigma Chi was posting on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and any platform they could think of. This crime did not affect them from what I can see on social media. And from the video clips that I've seen in the neighborhood, the parties have continued ever since. It's like the crime never happened. But once that house gets torn down, then it'll be really obvious a crime happened. A crime against the victims' families and a crime against justice. A crime against preserving possible evidence for a proper trial. That house was supposed to be destroyed over half a year ago. And since then, the authorities and the defense team have both re-entered the house. That's crazy. Each one felt the need to go back in after the house was already supposed to be gone. It will be interesting to know if either side found anything of significance upon re-entering. Because if they did, boom! Makes you wonder what else can be found in that house. Because I've been researching this case for over an entire year. And each and every single time that I re-look at evidence that I've already looked at, I find new clues. And if the authorities and Brian's defense team go back in the house again, I bet they find new clues. But then again, you have to have the right mindset and the right set of eyeballs in that house to find the clues. I guarantee you, if you give me one night in that house as a sleepover, I will find clues that nobody else found. And you know that's true. Yeah. And I will tell you the truth that there's no tunnels. We don't talk about tunnels here at Crime Circus for clicks, views, and speculation. No. Tunnels are real. I already told you that. They're on the website.
Stop denying it.
Time to level up. So, I've done a lot of research. I've researched houses being destroyed. I can't find a single instance in the history of criminal cases where the crime scene has been destroyed prior to the defendant having his day in court. It's never happened. Never, ever, ever. Not in all of the octillions of years that humans have been occupying planet Earth. This would be the first time it's ever been done. Isn't that bushy eyebrow raising to you? Yeah. It's never happened. Why would this be the first and only time it's ever happened? Ever, ever. It's never happened. You can research for yourselves with this criteria. With the defendant arrested in custody without his day in court. That has never happened. Any other scenario besides that criteria will not be entertained and is not worth discussing. Thank you very much. Now, possibly the most important part in this entire video, because it's possibly the most important piece to this entire case. Bethany Funk, I found this court document and it's a bit funky. Let's check it out. This right here is an official court document filed on behalf of Brian Kohberger. This happened in April. This court document right here is actually the most important court document in the entire case so far. So listen up. And this was filed in Nevada because that's apparently where Bethany took off to after this crime happened. There's a whole bunch of legal talk in here. We are going to cut right to the important piece right down here. Number 4, Bethany Funk may be a material witness for the defendant.
Yeah, I remember reading this when this came out, and yeah, this is quite something. I'm glad he brought this back because it needs to be brought out again.
In this case. 5, for the reasons stated in the affidavit of Richard Batanti, the presence of Bethany Funk is required at the Latah County Courthouse located at blah, blah, blah. 6, under the laws of the state of Idaho, if Bethany Funk comes into this state in obedience of a summons requiring her presence at this hearing, she will not be subject to arrest or service of any process relating to matters that arose before she entered the state under the summons. So there you have it.
No, does that sound like someone that is just a little bit scared to come into the state because she might get arrested? Huh? Is that what it sounds like to you? That's sure the hell what it sounds like to me. Important enough that they had to put it in there. You know what I'm saying?
Bethany was threatened with potential arrest, but then a bunch of games were played in court, and of course she didn't have to return and she didn't have to testify. And I'm pretty sure at this point, Brian Kohberger's attorneys have not even spoken to Bethany. And apparently Bethany is a witness for Brian Kohberger. So Bethany knows things. Reflecting back on the PCA, the probable cause arrest affidavit, notice they mentioned Dylan's name, but they never mentioned Bethany's name. Not as a witness anyways, which means whatever she told investigators is really, really, really bad for the state's case, or they would have mentioned at least a little snippet, a tidbit, a clipping of a sentence that would somehow, some way make Brian Kohberger look guilty. No, Bethany knows things. She really does. And whatever she knows, whatever she told investigators, makes Brian Kohberger look innocent. It implicates others. Bethany was in that house. She lived in that house. She heard things. She might have even saw things. This is alarming and this is concerning because there's 2 witnesses. And one witness saw a man with bushy eyebrows, and Bethany saw or heard something so much different. Every single time I read this court document, I think to myself, it's sus to us. Yeah, you know it is. It's super sus. Let's read that one portion again. Number 4, Bethany Funk may be a material witness for the defendant in this case. Boom. You can see they'd really like to see what secrets are held within Bethany's brain. They're not so interested in what's inside of Dylan's brain because it may have been compromised. This is a serious investigation, and a lot of you out there need to start taking this a lot more serious. You really do. I mean, seriously. There's a crazed lunatic out there making animations telling you the defendant is guilty. He wasn't there. He doesn't know anything about this case. He's not willing to think outside the box. He's got tunnel vision. We don't have tunnel vision here at Crime Circus. We've got Bethany Funk vision. We want to see what she saw. Yeah, we do. Also, ultra super duper important in this case and all true crime cases. I want to let you know something. Never, ever, ever contact victims or victims' family members for any reason whatsoever. That's not right. That's wrong. And here at Crime Circus, we like to do the right thing. Doing the wrong thing is wrong. It's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. I've never contacted any family members in this case for any reason. And honestly, I don't even think it's right to talk about family members. It's wrong. Life is a learning experience and people make mistakes, but it's just wrong. Never, ever, ever contact any family members, please. They don't deserve it. We're all just spectators and investigators in cases like this, but you couldn't imagine the pain that they're going through. A lot of them get manipulated and tricked into doing TV interviews thinking that that's going to help their pursuit for justice, and it does the exact opposite. They get played with by the big networks, and even some small YouTubers will play these victims' family members like fiddles. I know the victims' family members watch this show, and some of them even like this show, and I would never, ever, ever contact them for any reason whatsoever. What matters is justice. And their feelings and well-being matter too, because mental health is serious. Don't you think going through something like this as a loved one would take its toll on your mental health? Yeah. This is so much more than a click and a view. Yeah. It's more than a subscriber count. Yeah. Leave these family members alone, please. The more I see stuff like this, sometimes I think about quitting and I think I don't even want to be in the true crime community. But then the other side of me says the true crime community needs me because my community is filled with really good people. Every single day is a battle on, should I do it or shouldn't I do it? Should I continue? Shouldn't I continue? Are these cases better with me or without me investigating? Can I wake up today and be a better person today than I was yesterday? Can I be a better investigator today than I was yesterday? Have I made mistakes? Yeah. Have I been wrong with some of my guesses? Yeah. This is a guessing show. This is someone else's fantasy. Thank you so much for watching this special presentation. Please check down below in the pinned comment or the description box for my relevant links. I've got more Idaho videos that you might not have seen yet. Please consider supporting me right here on YouTube as a channel member, using Super Thanks or becoming a Patreon member. Your support helps this show a lot, because if it wasn't for your support, I would have quit a long time ago. But you need me and I need you. So thank you so much. And until next time, remember to stay safe out there because you know it's a dangerous world.
Okay, from our drip job. Always good material. I think all of these videos I've shown tonight have had very, very good material. Very good content. And we need to absorb it all. That's why I'm going to leave this up, because I know some of you are going to want to rewatch. But I want you to make sure to go like those videos that I showed tonight. We have the links in the chat. Now, and mods, if you could put those up again, I'd appreciate it. And it'll have to be after I'm done with this. I didn't even have time because I had a doctor's appointment and stuff today to run and do to get it in the description. So I'll try to do that tomorrow. I'm getting a little tired now. Old man talking here. And I want you to know, but I do want to show you one other thing. And it's an email I got. If I can show it here, I'm not sure if I can without showing the email. I'm going to try to show it on a WordPad here. And I think I've done this once before. I can't remember where I got it from. I saved it and I ran across it today. I wanted to put it in a show at some point, and I didn't get there. And I forgot about it. And I found it today, and I was like, oh, wow. And this has been from a couple of months ago. But I thought it was kind of interesting. But I also want to state this channel, of course, we have our own opinions here. And even between me and the investigative teams, we sometimes don't agree on certain opinions. But this channel doesn't always agree with opinions expressed in videos that we show. So I want to make that or emails. And that's what I'm getting to here. But I thought it was interesting enough to at least create a little chat about it anyway, right? You know me. So let's see if I can do this here. And no, it's, or wait. Is this it? This might be it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, now where am I here? Now, can you guys read this okay? Can you read this or not? Because I really don't want to read it. I really do not want to read this. Let me close this out. Let me try something here. I'm not that good with this. I don't know if you can read that or not. Okay, I'll read it, but I'm not going to name names. Let me see if you guys are seeing this or not. Can you guys see that? What are you guys saying? Strange. It might be. You get them too, right? Did you get them too, Strange? Oh, man. All right. Oh, man. All right. Well, I actually don't know who it came from, but because I downloaded it, you know what I mean? I copy pasted, downloaded this into this. And so I don't know who it came from. But looking at it, you're probably right. So I'm going to X that out. Oh, that's too funny, Strange. Yeah, someone else was just talking about this too. Oh, boy. I love you guys, man. I totally love you guys. You guys are the best ever. So anyway, I'm going to close it out. I'm going to leave a long outro so you guys can chat away for a little while. And it's going to be a couple songs you haven't seen. And it's both my old bands. A band called Ghost I was in back 10 to 14 years ago or something. So, and this one's probably 11 years old, 12 maybe. Anyway, that's what I'm going to close it out with. So anyway, I love you all, and I hope you guys had a great time. And I'm leaving the long outro so you can chat away. Until next time, once upon a crime time says, rock and roll.
Entertain us, oh, words what I do best. I love you, but it's you, yeah. I love you, and always been and always will until the end. Hello, 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 hello. When the lights out, when the painters do it all now, entertain us, rubber stupid, entertainers, do it all now, entertain us, woman like us.